Hello, world. Dear friends, fools, lovers, future lovers. My name is Jason, and you've just discovered Slaylist TV. Welcome. I suppose we should start with the most obvious question first. What is a slaylist? I suppose in a literary sense, we would call it a modern apocalypse. Sort of like the book of Revelation, but with synths and drums and rock and roll. It's a musical journey through the shadows, into hell and back, like some kind of a grand rock opera, or maybe a graphic novel. Like any good apocalypse, it unfolds chapter by chapter, verse by verse. Each one reveals more of the mystery and takes you deeper into the story, deeper into gnosis. Hopefully by the end, and the answers are revealed through self-discovery, self-liberation, even spiritual healing. Music is magic like that. If you listen closely, she can take you, heal you. Even things you didn't know were broken, she can get in there, nurture you from the inside out. And that's why we're here. The Slaylist began with a question about 20 years ago. In the early 2000s, my grandmother, I call her Granny, hello Granny, she made me a scrapbook. She gathered together a bunch of old photographs from my childhood. She arranged them into a photo album for me. And it's delightful. It's lovely. Thank you again, Granny. I miss you. But on the first page of that album was my baby picture, along with a note that has haunted me off and on for years. It said, "Once upon a time, there was a sweet little boy. What happened?" It was a good question. I wasn't that sweet little boy anymore, and I hadn't been for a long time. I'd lost him somewhere along the way, somewhere in the distant past. In his absence, I'd become stuck, trapped in a closed mind in a very black and white world. I'd become judgmental, short-tempered, short-fused, belligerent, like somebody opposite the real me. Right then, at that time, it should have been the prime of my life, but simply it wasn't. I was lost, spinning in circles, going nowhere fast. I was in constant struggle mode. Do you know struggle mode? You ever feel lost like that? Like everyone else got the memo but you? Like you're trapped inside someone else's story, chasing someone else's star? That was me. I was way out of shape, over 350 pounds. My scale didn't even go up that high. I had a terrible diet, a terrible outlook. I was on the fringe of society with no real job, no friends. And I didn't have any roots. Not really. None that were consistent, none that felt stable or trustworthy. None that I felt would accept me for me, just as I am. Because that was always the promise, right? Just as I am, without one plea. But it was never the truth, not really. So I spent my life running to something or from something. I was never quite sure, but searching and surviving nonetheless. Trying to find whatever it was I was looking for. It was constant struggle mode. And I was mad at the world. So yeah, back all those years before, Granny saw right through me. She knew. She knew enough to ask what happened. How did I get here so far from my me, who ripped off my Playboy and left him this beast? It's been a long time coming, but finally, the Slay List answers all. It's a confession. It's the truth. It's raw and it's real, and it's the story of my life. It's a journal of journey, a record of recovery. The Slay List is my own personal, private apocalypse. But before we dig in, I need to start with a couple of apologies. You'll understand why in a minute. To my dad. Dad, I was wrong. I always hated you. You were always the supervillain in my story. Absent, drunk, and derelict, I was always told how much you didn't care about us. And of course, I believed it. I believed it unchallenged. Dad doesn't care. I hated you so much. I hated your name. I hated you down to your name, my own last name. And I'm ashamed of that now because I was wrong. I drank the wine. I swallowed the lies. I embraced the programming like a good boy. And no matter what you did, how hard you tried, I couldn't see it. I couldn't value you because you were the bad guy. And I believed it. And I was wrong. Looking back now, for the short time that you were a part of my life, you tried. You tried hard to meet me where I was. You took time. You invested real time. You saw me. And you knew me well enough to give me quality gifts that matched my personality and my talents. You gave me a killer drafting set. It was like professional grade. And I was just a kid. And because it matched me so well, I loved it. I learned how to use it. And I learned so much because of that. My world expanded because of that. Because you took the time to see me. You took the time to care about my talents. Thank you for that. Later on, you built me a really nice desk with your own hands, your own skill. You made it for me to my own tastes. And you didn't have to do it, but you did. You spent real quality time with me when you finally did have the chance. You taught me to play chess. You paid attention to my schooling. You helped me with my classes and planning for the future. Still, it was never enough. My own prejudices, my own programming insisted that you were bad. Just like the rest of your family. Unsaved and unsavory, secular pagans all. Which by definition meant you couldn't fully be trusted. And Dad, that's exactly how I treated you. Not good enough. An outsider. An other. And I never really trusted you. And I was so wrong. Today, I can never tell you face to face or man to man how sorry I am, but I am. Wherever you are, you deserve better. Dad, I love you and I miss you. I wish you were still around so we could knock through some of this stuff together. That would be so wild. I almost can't even imagine that. But I know you'd be up for it. I know you would. I know you would knock through this stuff with me. If I would have invested time with you, I know you would have done the same for me. I just never let you in. And I'm sorry. Dad, wherever you are, I love you and I miss you. One more apology, and then we'll get back to the slay list. But I feel like I need to air some of this dirty laundry right here at the top, just to show you. In the shadows, we all wrestle these difficult truths, sometimes hidden truths, even the raw materials of our being, the things that really matter in life, the things that steer us from within without our even knowing, like our own prejudices, our own mistakes, like mine with my dad. But Apocalypse washes away everything else, and it brings those difficult truths into focus. And then you have no choice. You have to deal with it as it really is. Because when you have unresolved apocalypses buried, hiding in your heart, well, that's when the gadfly strikes. And when that happens, everybody knows a tempest must be. So, to my brother, again, I was wrong. I hated you too. Not hate in a malicious way. Not that that makes any of it any better. But I looked down on you too and disregarded you too. I never valued you the way I should have. You were never the villain in my story the way Dad was. Nothing like that. You were just kind of invisible. And I guess I made you unimportant. It kills me to admit that. It kills me to have to say that. But it's true. I Archie bunkered you all the time. You had your own ideas, your own preferences, your own designs on life. But most of the time, I just bullied you. I denigrated your ideas. I was just mean, needlessly so. And I was not a team player for you. All too often, I believed and behaved like you were dumb or off base somehow. And I bellowed like a bully every chance I got. That was the masculinity displayed to me. That's what a man looked like to me. And I swallowed it all like all the other wine. And then I made it some kind of a toxic virtue to be so hard and austere. So, brother, you lived the most formative years of your life. Afraid, neglected, scolded, rejected. I wasn't responsible for all of it, but I certainly played my role. I was stupid. I was naive. And I was wrong. And you didn't deserve any of it. It was never your fault. It was never your fault. But you see, demiurgic diarrhea always drains downhill. That's how it works. It's part of the programming. And brother, I'm sorry to say, but you were always the Beavis on the bottom. The last in line, black sheep freak. You were the scapegoat. And I'm sorry because you deserve better. Everybody deserves better. But that's what it does, the demiurgic diarrhea. They rain it down over you until it infects you and hijacks you from the inside out. It blinds your eyes and steals your dreams before you've even left elementary school. It's a parasite. It's a contagion. It programs you. It owns you. It leeches you away from yourself until you forget who you really are. And then you pass it down to your kids. And down and down and down it goes. It rained down on me when I was 7. And then I spent 40 years in the demiurgic desert. Fumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Lost. But wholly devoted and drunk on the wine. Now I'm 50, with wars and rumors of wars and apocalypses raining down all around us. And I'm looking back, picking scabs, still puzzling together the answers to that fateful question, what happened? What's the matter, Beavis? Well, the Slaylist, these songs, these lyrics, they're like rock and roll breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs I've left on the trail behind me, detailing that arduous journey out of Plato's cave. That tricky trek to knowing oneself. And you'll see as you go, Slaylist TV is laid out like a rainbow bridge for all on the hero's quest. In Norse mythology, they call it a bifrost, a rainbow bridge stretching into the divine realms. In the Slaylist, it's a rainbow bridge leading through trauma to triumph, from servitude to sovereignty. The songs themselves, they span over 50 years. Some are beloved classics, and others are brand new bangers. There's a lot of good music being made today, guys. Just saying. You may or may not like every song. It's okay. It's no worry. Give them time. Let the lyrics sink in. And collaborate with your subconscious. Let them unveil the full story. Get vulnerable with the verses and feel the empathy these artists have left behind for you. Because it's there. You may not like every song, but you'll get it. And like with every hero's journey, you'll unlock truth as you travel. But like I said, the Slaylist is an apocalypse. So you need to know what that means. When the sun is darkened and the moon turns to blood, it means some are taken and others are left behind. It means this is one of those red pill, blue pill experiences. It's like the Matrix. Or like when you eat the forbidden fruit to gain the forbidden knowledge. The Slaylist is like that. All along your path, I've left dozens of Ishtar eggs for you to explore. Each one will help illuminate your way and unfold deeper understanding for you. I never had any kids of my own, but if I did, these are some of the secrets, some of the life hacks I'd pass along to them to let them know how it all works. These are the things that if I could, I'd go back and tell my 20-year-old self. But some of this stuff cannot be unseen or unheard. Shadow work is like that. Apocalypses are like that. They take you to the truth, the bitter and the sweet, the joy and the ache, because some are taken and some are left behind. And though it may rip your heart apart, sometimes you have to let the dead bury the dead. Because once you know, you know. Once you see, you see. You have the eyes, you have the ears. And when black swans come in swarms, the epiphanies they leave behind are like wrecking balls, even to the most carefully crafted worldview. So the more you seek, the more you will find. But I'm serious. It could rock everything you know about the world. But I promise you this. I will not lie to you. I may be crazy, but I'm not a liar. I will tell you the truth as best as I know it every time, because that's who I am and that's what I do. So if there's anyone out there within the sound of my voice, then my precious one, hold my hand and feel my heart. I can't save you from apocalypse, nor from the forbidden answers to all those unaskable questions. Like, for example, do your demons, do they ever let you go? Do they hide deep inside when you've tried? Is it someone that you know? Because that's shadow work, baby, and I can't stop your hell on earth. But as your apocalypse unfolds, I want to do the best I can to help love you through it. Because it's tough to do it alone, and nobody should have to. So, children of light, hear me this night. If you had a rough time growing up, maybe parents that never got you or neglected you, were never there for you, or maybe they were there for you too much. Maybe you were bullied and always afraid. Maybe you struggled to feel safe in the world, or to be seen, or to be heard, to be good enough. Maybe you always carried the blame and then developed some harmful habits because of that. Perhaps you can identify with this clip from Theo Vaughn.
You know, and that's when you're alone, you feel that's when you have nobody and you don't have, and you feel like nobody has you. That's the thing. That's the thing about being alone. It's not that you feel like you don't have anybody. It's like you feel like nobody has you. And man, and I know especially when we're young, that's so, we can't even put it into words, but we can feel that. And I remember a lot as a child feeling that way. You know, just feeling like nobody has me. You know, when you grew up in an environment where your back is against to the wall, or you go through a time in your life when your back is against the wall, man, you're so scared, you know, to be honest. You know, I think I was so scared, and I didn't know how to care about anybody. You know, nobody taught me how to care, because somewhere in my head, I just didn't have that trust. Somewhere in my heart, I didn't have that trust for others that would let me really, you know, embrace the care that they probably wanted to give me a lot of times. You know, and a lot of that comes from just fear. You know, when you grow up scared, or you go through times when you're scared.
If any of that fits you, you're in the right place. I made the slay list for you. Now, I want to begin wrapping up, but first, for any Jesus people in attendance, Christians, Mormons, Catholics, welcome. I was a Jesus people my whole life. One of my favorite old bands, Res Band, Jesus People USA, Chicago, Illinois. So yeah, hello, Jesus people. I know you, and I want to speak directly to you for a minute. The slay list will challenge you all the way to the root. Disc 1 begins with a prophecy promising that by the end, you will go free. It's one of my favorite songs. And it speaks of invisible prison bars. You can't turn your head around fast enough, but they're everywhere you are. The slay list by design will help you see those bars, to reveal that prison and expose the Operation Mind crime inflicted on your own psyche. It's that all too familiar battle between your own natural curiosity as a human being and that ever-present fear of eternal damnation. And if you're a Jesus people, I know you know what I'm talking about. These are the bars that bind you. And the slay list, I think, will reveal them to you in new and compelling ways. So, my Christian friend, red or blue, it's up to you. Now, for anyone out there already struggling with your faith, I know your struggle. You're caught somewhere between belief and betrayal. Maybe you licked the red pill, but haven't been able to swallow it all the way down. The Slaylist is especially for you. If you're doubting or have already lost grip on your old beliefs, if you feel them slipping through your fingers the tighter you grasp, I know that struggle. You're not alone. You know, it's scary and confusing enough when your God disappears. But knowing that means you'll probably lose all your friends and family too. Maybe even your job or a place to live. Knowing you'll face ridicule and whispers and gossip and concerted efforts to pray and manipulate you back into the fold. All of it. It's an overwhelming weight. It's an overpowering grief. It's really tough when everybody you know believes in Santa Claus but you. They sing the sacred songs and say the magic words, and they expect you to do the same with smiles and supplications, because if you don't, you're a threat. If you don't, you're the witch that they were warned of. It's really isolating and lonely, isn't it? And all of that burden, all of that spiritual turmoil, all of it just adds to the traumas you've already endured through the brainwashing of the religion itself. But see, that's the thing. Religion means literally to bind. To bind the mind into a very specific way of thinking. To bind the being into a very specific way of behaving. That's the whole point. And this is the nature of the prison. This is the means of spiritual control, and dare I say, spiritual abuse. Finally, for anyone who's already escaped religious bondage, you know, escape is just the beginning. Demolition and destruction is just the beginning. After that is grief and loss. Then it's picking the scabs and salting the wounds. Through it all, you're dealing with the pain and rage of betrayal, of the endless lies and deceits that became a part of you and ruled you, steered you from within. And still, then, after all that, how do you not comb through all the wasted years? How can you not wrestle, worry, and wonder about all the things that coulda, woulda, shoulda been, if only it had been different? Friends and lovers, it's a long, harrowing process. They call it the dark night of the soul, but that dark night might last a long time, even years. So I don't know when, and I don't know how. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't know how hard it will be. But I know you will go free, and you are not alone. If nothing else, the Slaylist, the resources in the Slaylist, will show you that others have walked this path before you. There are professional resources by kind professional people who've been there, who've battled in the trenches of their own storms and shadows. And they're pouring their own insights, their wisdom into all these materials for free to nurture you, to love you, to help you find your way. I can tell you they've been invaluable to me, and I want to pass them along to you. So yeah, you're not alone, and it does get better. Eventually, you move on to recovery. to healing, rebuilding your worldview on your terms, your way. You get to recast your tale and weave your own allegorical elegy on your terms, your way. So ask yourself, what would your life be like? Who would you be today if you'd never been hijacked and infected? If you'd never been bound to the system, bricked into the wall? In the wine-dark fog of lies and indoctrination, I lost my me. You lost your you. We lost our we. We were chained and trained in a prison we could not see. You want to know what happened? You want to get free? You want to tiptoe through the matrix like Neo? The Slaylist can take you there. Well, maybe not take you there. More like ride along with you, encourage you along your own path, your own way. That's the point of the whole thing. I told you at the top, it's about liberation and healing. And something I call a you world order. So as you go, as you spend time with these songs and bask in the emotions, the lyrics, the lessons, for those who make it all the way through to the end, mark my words, we'll have you speaking in new tongues. And as you proceed, I encourage you to create your own Slaylist. Take what you will and leave the rest, but carve your own path through the music to salvation, to self-sovereignty, to knowing and loving yourself. Then, my love, my champion, light the dark and leave your mark. Thank you for your kind attention. A massive thank you to all the musicians, artists, teachers, psychologists, creators, all of you for leaving a part of your benevolent souls behind. It's a beautiful gift for the world. Each one of you, you've all meant so much to me personally, and I thank you. If you're interested, I've made some other bonus videos for you for the Slaylist. One details the story behind the Slaylist, another about being naked and vulnerable with the muse, and of course, every crazy bedlamite has to leave behind a personal manifesto, so you won't want to miss that. Thank you again. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, O children of light, ride the tiger, bleed for the dancer, and raise your horns majestic.